Now, today we are going to discuss about industrial disputes and strikes. In our previous lecture, we have discussed about industrial relations. We defined, or we said that there are two main aspects of industrial relations. One is cooperation and the other one is conflict. Now, conflict is a general term. That is used in industrial relations. However, if this particular conflict it acquires a concrete and a specific manifestation, then it becomes an industrial dispute. So industrial dispute is specific, whereas industrial conflict is a general term. So industrial dispute is it could be defined as a disagreement between the laborers and the management, or between the workers and the management, regarding the working conditions, regarding the wages, regarding the terms of employment, regarding trade union recognition, regarding the jurisdiction of trade unions, etc. So there could be n number of industrial disputes, as many points of contacts are there between the workers and the management. There could be industrial dispute at each point of contact. So industrial dispute is a dispute arising between employers and employees, between workmen and employers, between workmen and workmen, which is concerned with the terms of employment, conditions of labor or employment or non-employment of workers or other concerned persons. So what could be the specific causes of industrial disputes? Industrial dispute causes varies from country to country, from industry to industry. There could be n number of reasons for industrial dispute, such as regarding the wages, the fringe benefits, the incentives, the wage structure, the method of job evaluations, the working conditions, the technologies, the layouts, the hour of works, the shift timings, the promotions, layout, retrenchments, job securities, retirement, recognition of unions, membership of unions, bargaining units, unfair practices, clash of personalities, demand for recognition of labor's personality, non-implementation of labor laws and legislation laws, violation of certain agreements. So there could be n number of reasons for industrial disputes. Now, if we look at industrial disputes, there could be another way of looking at it. One could be disputes concerning interest, and the other one could be disputes concerning their rights. Now let's take an example. For example, a dispute regarding the general wages increase or acceptance of seniority as a basis of promotion. Now this may be called as a dispute regarding interest. The resolution of this dispute, it may create certain rights, that is, for example, higher wages or right to promotion. Now, however, in case if the employer refuses to hike the wages or give the promotion, then it would lead to a dispute regarding implementation, whereas the employer, they are not implementing the above said things. So now there could be now let's discuss about strikes. What are strikes? In today's world, there are two main form of agitation, or a main form of protest, which have evolved. One is from the worker side and the other one is from the employer side. From the employee's perspective sorry, strike is a most lethal weapon, and from the employer's point of view, they resort to lockout conditions. So what is a strike? Now there are certain ingredients involved in the definition of strike. One of the basic ingredients of a strike is a combined withdrawal of services by worker. Secondly, there is a cessation of work for a temporary period of time, temporary withdrawal of work from the workers' point of view. Now, the workers they may come back to the work whenever they feel like. So there is no hard and fast rule that they will not come back to the work. Thirdly, there is no termination of the employer-employee relationship. It's only that the workers, the strikers, they are not working. Finally, the cessation of work has certain objectives. These objectives have to be fulfilled. So, strike is a voluntary stoppage of work on the part of body of workers by common agreement or understanding, or by order of their unions, with a view to protecting or promoting their rights and interest in general, or for fulfillment of specific demands. Right? Now let's talk about the forms of strikes. There could be a number of reasons why the strikes takes place. There could be a number of forms of strikes. Now, on the basis of initiation of strikes, the strikes may be called as authorized strikes as well as non-authorized strikes. What is authorized strike? Authorized strike is only after a legislation has been passed, or after the union has approved the strike. They have given the consent. The next one is the unauthorized strike. It is a strike which is also known as a wildcat strike, in the sense that the unions, they have not given the permissions, and this particular strike it has been called by a section of workers without any formal preparations or without any formal approval from any of the unions. Now, next is on the basis of scope. On the basis of scope means that the area covered by the strikers. This could be a general strike or a particular strike. General strike means that it has a huge or a widespread it is widespread to all across the country or to different parts of the country, whereas a particular strike is a strike of a particular plant. For example, the workers in a particular plant may go on a strike. Now, next is on the basis on the types of technique. The strikes may be classified as a slow down strike, as a quickie strike, as a sit down strike, or work to rule strike. So on the basis of technique, the strikes could be slow down. Slow down means that the workers, they will continue to work, but however the pace of work would be reduced. They would not be working at the normal rate. Next is the next one could be quickie strike. Quickie strike means they still remain in the workplace, but they stop to work for a brief period of time, that is for few hours. That is known as a quickie strike. Sit down strike. Sit down strike is a strike where the workers, they remain in the place of work, but they do not work. The duration of this strike now is longer than the quickie. So quickie strike and sit down strike, they are basically same. So every sit down is a quickie, but every quickie is not a sit down. because in sit down the duration of stoppage of work is longer than in case of quickie strike. Next one is work to rule strike. Now there are in certain industries, there are certain guidelines according to which the work should take place. However, if you strict to those guidelines, the productivity would be badly hampered. So the workers, by mutual consent of their employers, without affecting the quality, they often bypass such rules and work at a faster pace. However, in case when a strike takes place, then they would go according to the books or according to the rules. Whatever is mentioned, they would work accordingly. So now next one is on the types of generic purpose. Now on the types of generic purpose where the strikes takes place, it could be classified as a sympathetic strike, it could be classified as jurisdictional strike, and the next one is a political strike and general strikes. Now what is a sympathetic strike? Sympathetic strike is, if I go by the definition, it says sympathetic strike is a cessation of work by workers of an establishment in sympathy with the workers of another employer, or in order to put pressure upon the government to adopt measures to fulfill the demands of other workers, whether on strike or not. So it is in sympathy, as the name refers or name suggests, it is in sympathy with the other workers, of the other industry. This particular group of workers, they may be on a strike or may not be on a strike, but they sympathize with the other workers and they strike in sympathy of those workers to uplift their morals of the workers for whom they express their sympathy. So it's a sympathetic strike, it's expression of solidarity and support a particular cause. Next one is the jurisdictional strike. Jurisdictional strike, by definition, a strike called by workers of an establishment not because of direct grievance against the employers, but on account of a disagreement between rival unions as to which should be recognized as official representative of the workers in the establishment. So there could be a case where the two unions may quarrel with their respective jurisdictions and strike as a result of it. The two rival unions, they may quarrel that their unions should be considered as a legal representative while the other one should not be. So in this case, both the unions, they quarrel and they go on a strike. That is known as a jurisdictional strike. However, there is in India there is the strikes, such strikes to avoid or to there is no law which says or which deals with such a specific or such types of strikes. Still, in US you have certain laws like Taft-Huxley Act, which was implemented in 1947, but still India has no provisions for it. Now next is the political strike. Political strike is on the support of the certain political parties for certain objectives, for certain economic situations. Now these strikes, political strikes, they were prevalent even during the pre-independence era, when the people, they supported the leaders for a particular cause. And similarly, after independence, there could be certain political parties which may go on strike against a particular economic policy or etc. Now next is a general strike. General strike, if by definition it says that a strike having very wide coverage, extending over a number of industries, employment regions or employers. The degree of generality or the extent of coverage of general strikes varies considerably from strike to strike. So general strike, as already mentioned, that it's very similar to the political strike. It involves the entire workforce, the entire working class of a country, due to a certain reasons, certain political reasons, such as economic policies or industrial policies of the government. This could be the reason for going towards the general strike, where there is a widespread strike all over the country. Now, next we'll discuss about Gherao. What is the Gherao? By definition, it says the practice involving confinement of authorities, mostly managerial personnel, in their offices by agitating workers in connection with the demands and preventing them from going out. So, what is the Gherao? As already mentioned, that it relates or it confines the managerial personnel. Often the unions, the members, they completely surround the offices of the personnel, especially the HRs or the top management, and they won't let them go out. They won't let them go out even for for food, and they may be kept starving for certain days. So this was very prevalent in West Bengal and then in Kerala, especially with the unified front governments. Consequently, what happened was that there was a widespread agitation among the business class, and the companies, they started to move out from such places. So now, even in India, in the Industrial Dispute Act, there was no mention about the Gheraos, and even the National Commission on Labour, which described Gherao as unethical. However, it did not give any directions to what the unions should do about the Gherao. But then there was an amendment in the Industrial Dispute Act 1983, and which says that this Gherao is an unfair labour practice, which was included in unfair labour practice, the amended act of the Industrial Dispute Act, and they should not resort to it, or it should be prohibited. So finally, this has been made as a unfair legal practice. Now let's talk about the factors or the outcomes of the strikes. So on the side of the union, there could be the factors which are operating, or factors which are conditioning the outcome of the strikes. It could be studied under three heads. One is on the side of the union, on the side of the employer, and a general factors. Now, on the side of unions, there are certain factors such as the extent of unionization, the composition of union members, the union finances, the union leaderships, the morale of the workers, support from other unions, and so on. So unionization or extent of unionization, strike is it's a double-edged weapon. It affects the strength of unions, and determines the outcome of the strike by conditioning the staying power of the strike. So the more the strong the union is, more would be a successful outcome of the strike. The strikes would be more successful. Similarly, if the union is financially strong, it can support the workers. It can, because the workers, they will feel a lot of hardships. We'll discuss this. So if the finances are strong, then the unions, they can sustain for a long time, and they can fight for the success. Similarly, how strong the union leadership is, because at times it happens that the union is broken down. That's the main main weapon that the employers do play, that they divide the union. Next is the support from the other unions. How the other unions or are helping the particular union which is on a strike. So if it gets a widespread support, then the cause becomes even more powerful or more effective. Similarly, on the side of the employers, the factors which affect the employers are the economic position of the employers, the attitude of the employers, the availability of alternate ways to produce the goods and services, so the economic position of the employer means that how well or how financially strong the employer is, for how long he can sustain the loss of production. In case if there is no production, then how long the employers they can sustain. Similarly, the attitude of employer, it depends that what would be the timings of this particular strike, if it is run, and if the strike has taken place when the business is slow or during the recession. So the employers would encourage the strike because it would be beneficial for them. Similarly, the availability, the alternative ways to produce the goods and services, that what could be the alternative ways. Are there any machines, or are there another set of workers, or what is the rate of unemployment if they hire another people or another set of persons who can do the work. Now there are general factors which are affecting the strikes, such as the prevailing economic conditions, the policy of the government, the public opinion, etc. So the policy of government affects the nature of the strikes, such as if the government initiates an ESMA, the Essential Maintenance Services Act in India, then ultimately the strikers, they have to go back to the work. A pro employer government may not help the workers, the striking workers, to go on a strike. Whereas if the government is pro-union, then it would pressurize the employers to accept the demand of the unions. Similarly, the public opinion. The public is never in favor of strikes, almost 90%. But then what the unions and what the employers, they do is they they try to influence the public opinion by ways of advertisements, by way of pamphlets, and where they put what they are doing is good, and they try to project